Moses' story is told in the book of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. He is also mentioned in Acts 7 chapter 20 to 44 verses and Hebrews 11 chapter 23 to 29. Some people can't stay out of trouble. When conflict breaks out, they always manage to be nearby. Reaction is their favorite action. This was Moses. He seemed drawn to what needed to be right. Throughout his life, he was at his finest and his worst responding to the conflicts around him. Whether jumping into a fight to defend a Hebrew slave or trying to referee a struggle between two kinsmen, when Moses saw conflict, he reacted. Over the years, however, an amazing thing happened to Moses. He didn't stop reacting, rather, he learned to react correctly. With each day's events shifting like a kaleidoscope, leading 2 million people in the wilderness was more than enough challenge for Moses' reacting ability. Much of the time, he served as a buffer between God and the people. At one moment, he had to respond to God's anger at the people's stubbornness and forgetfulness. At another moment, he had to react to the people's bickering and complaining. At still another moment, he had to react to their unjustified attacks on his character. Leadership often involves reaction. If we want to react with instincts consistent with God's will, we must develop habits of obedience to God. Consistent obedience to God is best developed in times of less stress. Then, when stress comes, our natural reaction will be to obey God. In our age of lowering moral standards, we find it almost impossible to believe that God would punish Moses for the one time he outright disobeyed. What we fail to see, however, is that God did not reject Moses. Moses simply disqualified himself to enter the promised land. Personal greatness does not make a person immune to error or its consequences. In Moses, we see an outstanding personality shaped by God. But we must not misunderstand what God did. He did not change who or what Moses was. He did not give Moses new abilities and strengths. Instead, he took Moses' characteristics and molded them until they were suited to his purposes. Does knowing this make a difference in your understanding of God's purpose in your life? He is trying to take what He created in the first place and use it for its intended purposes. The next time you talk with God, don't ask, "What should I change into?" Instead, ask, "How should I use my own abilities and strengths to do your will?" Lessons from Moses' life. God prepares, then uses. His timetable is life-sized. God does His greatest work through frail people. In Moses, we see an outstanding personality shaped by God. But we must not misunderstand what God did. Key verse: it was by faith that Moses, when he grew up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to share the oppression of God's people instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. Hebrews 11 chapter 24 and 25.